So previously we learned about German pronouns. The first one, and these, by the way, are nominative. I will tell in later stages what exactly this nominative is, because we have nominative, accusative, dative, so many cases are there. So first, the singular ones were. Can anybody tell me what how it is for I?
Is.
Ish.
Ish. Ish.
Yes, absolutely right. Make sure that you speak it as ish, not ik.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if I am telling that you,
Do.
that's right. And he,
Er.
Air.
absolutely right. And for feminine, she,
C.
Z.
yeah, z.
Z.
All right. Here, just make sure, friends, that this S is a small one. Yeah, it should not be capital. All right. I'll tell you later on. I mean, these all things we'll take up later at a later stage. And for he will be, sorry, for it will be S.
S.
All right. So these were all singular, and the plural ones are will be we're, that is for we. Then ear, that will be for you all, and then z is for they. Right now, this makes sure that it is z for they, and in case if you are talking to somebody senior, then you will make this s capital. That is also they. Okay, we'll take up all this stuff later on, because presently I want to concentrate upon täglich Deutsch, not on that much, this much German grammar. All right. So this was just a recap of what we learned last time. Now, one special difference between English and German is all nouns start with capital letter. Okay, so even if I say this is my house, sorry, if in English I'll say this is my house, the German word for house in Deutsch, in German language, is Haus, but here you will make sure that H is always capital. Okay, for any noun, I mean, this is a blanket rule that for any noun, the first letter will be capital. Let's say if I were to say Chetan, so in English also the C will be capital, and in German also it will be capital. However, if I were to say that Chetan is engineer, so in English it will be like engineer, small in E. But in German the counterpart is Ingenieur, and here it will always start with capital I. Likewise, if you take up any example, let's say laptop. So in German it will always start with capital letters. Okay? Any doubt here, friends?
So either it in the start of the word, like laptop is broken, or I have laptop. So like either it's a start of the sentence or the end of the sentence. In all the cases, it will be capital, right?
Yes, exactly. This is a blanket rule. Wherever the noun comes, it will always start with capital letters. Right? So even if I were to say name, so what is your name? Was ist dein Name? So this N will always be capital wherever it stays. Okay? So just make sure that you remember this rule. Now this is more to do with written German, because in normal spoken German it hardly makes any sense if it is capital or small. Now apart from this, every noun has a gender. Every noun has a gender. that could be R, Z, or S. That is, it could be masculine, feminine, or neutral. Now, you'll say that even in English we have all these genders, but in English what we normally do is, if I'm talking about a man, then it is definitely masculine. If I'm talking about a woman, then it is definitely feminine. And if I'm talking about a kitten or a cat, then we normally treat it as neutral. Just a moment. Amia. Hi Amia, welcome.
I said good morning.
Good morning.
Sorry for delay for about 5 minutes.
No problem. So Amia, what I had taken up is, just now I took up one new topic, that is all nouns in German start with a capital letter, irrespective where they stay. Like,
Okay.
This is my house. Suppose if I were to say in English, then I would say this is my house and H will be small, right?
Yep.
However, if in German, if I were to say this is meine Haus, then wherever this house stays, I mean, this house is counterpart of English in German, but the first character of this noun will always be capital. Okay. Likewise, if I say laptop, but in German it will be laptop, but wherever this laptop will come in the sentence, whether it comes in the first word or maybe in the middle of the sentence, this L will always be capital.
Okay, so small query. So how we decide which character is going to be on first place or second place or third place in terms of deciding the noun and the capital alphabet?
No, that is like making a sentence. That is entirely a different topic.
Okay.
Because there are so many parameters that comes into picture, whether you are asking somebody, it's a question sentence, it's a reply to a sentence, imperative sentence. So that is entirely a different story. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So as of now, we have to consider in our mind like any noun position with irrespective of position should be having a first letter as in capitals.
Exactly. You are absolutely right. I mean, I took an example here also, like if I say Chetan, so C will be capital all the times, right? Even in English. Or if I say Amia, so A will be always capital all the times, irrespective whether the word comes anywhere in the sentence. But this holds true in English only for proper nouns. That is name of some person, for example, name of some place, name of something. However, in German, any noun, even let's say a boy, this is also a noun. So this B will always be capital all the times. I mean, whatever the German counterpart will be. Let's say table. Yeah, which is Tisch. T-I-S-C-H. So this T will be always capital wherever it is used.
It's T-R-I-C-H, correct?
T-I-S-C-H.
T-I, okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry for my poor handwriting.
No, you are much better than me at this.
Great. So this was just a small rule that I wanted to share with you all guys. Right? Now the next rule is every noun has a gender. Now, even in English, we associate every noun with a gender. Let's say man is always masculine, woman is always feminine. But or let's say a kitten or a cat may be neutral in English, I'm talking. However, in German, this rule does not hold. So, for example, let's say I say a noun address. Okay. So, if I come from an English background, this noun I will take it as neutral, isn't it? However, in German it is feminine. Now,
By what logic,
yeah,
masculine or feminine, we are concluding for these kind of ambiguous words?
that is no logic. That is the problem. There is absolutely no logic behind it. And there is absolutely no logic behind it, and we have to just remember them. There are certain rules which we can follow, but unfortunately there is no rule at all. And And there are so many exceptions also. Let's say a small girl. Small girl. Yeah, maybe 10 years girl. In German, it is Mädchen. Okay. Now, ideally, if you go by logic, you will call it as feminine. But in German, it is neutral. Okay. So, there is no logic at all. I mean, you have to only remember it. That's the only thing. Now, as I said, I just cited one example address here. Moment. Yeah. Now, this address is neutral. However, my place of stay, let's say this is Wohnort. That is my home, you can say. Wohnort means where I'm staying. This is masculine. Okay. So you see there is no relation at all. Address is feminine, but Wohnort is masculine. And let's say origin city. Let's say if I have a pumpkin in my hand, let's say this is a pumpkin, and I want to ask where this originated. Okay, that is the manufacturing country or manufacturing place.
Okay.
So it is Herkunft in German. Herkunft, and this is feminine. Herkunft is feminine. So I don't want you guys to pressurize your brains and remember all the genders, because with time you will remember everything. So I mean, it's actually endless. You cannot remember so many words at all. So only with practice and with time you will get to learn all this stuff. So don't get pressurized here.
Siddharth, one question. So,
Yeah.
for spoken language, right? So, how important it is? Is it very important, or is it okay if you make a mistake?
It is actually not at all important. This is
Okay.
a very good question you asked me. Not important at all, because even in our Muttersprache, in our mother language like English or Hindi or whichever, if I say in Hindi, for example, I'll say meri car, or if I say mera car, yeah, so it is both the same. I mean, I'm talking about my car.
Yeah, correct.
And you can easily convey. You see, the main motive of any language is to convey your thoughts, your opinion, what you're thinking or what you want to say. If you are able to convey that, then it's done. No issues at all. If you were to write a poem or if you were to write a speech to be given to people, then definitely grammar counts. Then it comes into picture. But
Especially in case of literature classes,
Yes.
these matters. But for our perspective, we are not going to definitely the mastering in German language.
yes, you're right. Absolutely right. So thereby you don't emphasize too much upon it. Yeah. And not only that, friends, there are certain endings. Let's say I say it's minor. That is my. Yeah, in English. In English, it will be only mine. But here in German, it will be meine.
Mine.
Yeah, meinen. M-E-M. Moment. Then it could be minor. Likewise, there are so many endings that will come into picture later on, and they all depends upon which case you are in and which gender you are talking about. So these will also change according to genders. But
So Siddharth,
if you keep on diving into deep into this this grammar portion, it is endless. And
Siddharth,
yeah, our focus is not on we are
Hello,
not here to
Siddharth.
be a poet or something in German language. So
Hi Siddharth.
yeah,
Yeah. So this mine, minor, mine. So this all also linked to noun as well.
yes, that's what I'm saying. It's depend upon gender. That is the noun. Gender comes through the noun only, and also depends upon case. That is accusative, nominative, dative. That all will take up later on. So that's why there are so many endings that comes, and then it is too complex then. So we will not dive too much into it. Okay. The only thing that I request you guys is whenever you are learning any noun, let's say you just got to know that the city of origin, the origin city is known as Herkunft. One thing you should note is whenever I am talking about noun, I am always keeping this first word capital. That is most important. Yeah. So what I was saying is, one request I would make to you all guys is whenever you learn any new noun, you please focus upon the gender right away. Okay. If you see, like for example, I say a small girl is known as Mädchen, but the moment you get to know this new word Mädchen, you please ask or focus upon the gender right at the moment you learn that noun. Okay. Because if you start learning all these nouns and later on you think like, okay, I have learned the nouns, now I should learn the gender, then it will be really too tough. So better to start right. So as I said, this Herkunft is feminine. Now, as I previously said, there are three genders: masculine, feminine, and neutral. So for masculine, in English we normally use only the boy, the girl, the table, right? But in German there are three these articles. These are articles. There will be der for masculine, der. It is d for feminine, and this is das for neutral. So in English we have only the, but in German it will be der, die, das.
Okay, so that means, Siddharth, I watch YouTube very frequently, and most of the time in during the video we see ad and it says DIE, so D. So it is always indicating for girls.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. However, there is again one point that don't be over stressed with these points. It is definitely referring to feminine, but it may also refer to plural. Okay. So, for example, what example should I take? Yes. Let's say previously I told you that Vorname.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amiya, Chetan, Raghu. So these are all Vorname. And then comes the Nachname. So Vorname is also a noun and it is a masculine noun.
So ये Nachname or a feminine name?
Yeah.
Is it same?
These are all masculine nouns.
No. So Vorname is first name and Nachname is last name.
Yes.
Or a familiar name is equivalent to Nachname.
Exactly. Familiar name is equivalent to Nachname.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, der Vorname is masculine and this is the noun, and the the plural will be die Vornamen. Okay. So as Amiya just asked, in YouTube videos, if they say D, then you have to focus whether it is a plural or it's something related with some singular but feminine. Right? So this D can come for plural and also for feminine. There may be one more case that later on we'll talk about. But as I said, in German, most of the thing depends on the context, the situation where it is used. So you have to, only with D word you cannot find out what exactly it is, unless and until you see the other words in the sentence. So I don't want to overload you guys. Just focus upon this stuff right now.
So Siddharth, yeah, sometime as you said, right, like there is a there, D and das. So sometime I found like they also use then, them. Is it also used for the?
It is
That is
absolutely
little
right.
advanced.
But the deeper you go, the more worms you will find. So der, die, das, die, den is also there. Den, die, dem, das. So there are so many things. They will come on later on. These are all English the. These are the mutants of the. Right. So
So specifically, sorry to interrupting here. So specifically for like initial learner, right? Like which D should be used that can basically give the respect to the person in front of either it's a smaller because since we will be at earlier stage, right?
yeah.
No, it's Z, not D. For respecting a people while indicating it's Z.
Yes, you're right, but Z is not a article. Z is not an article, right? We do definitely we do use Z for respecting people, or for plural or for feminine, but right now these are all our articles, right? These are all corresponding to the THE in English. Now, this article, this Z is something different. This is pronoun.
Pronoun. Okay.
Yeah. So we are not talking about articles. But anyways, see, we will go there slowly and steadily. We'll dive deep there also. But I don't want to, because if I take 10 classes only of grammar, probably in the 11th class I'll find only one candidate, and that would be me only. So thereby, let us try to keep the class interesting and more relevant to our daily lives.
True. Correct.
Yeah. If we were to practice to pass the Goethe exam or some test DAF type of exams, then we should concentrate only upon grammar. But right now we are here to interact with maybe person sitting at the railway, or if we were to interact with police or somebody. Yeah. So
Auslander. Any
Yeah.
tips? Auslander office?
yes, Ausländer Behörde, Rathaus or Finanzamt. Yeah.
Because nowadays I'm very much frequently in touch with them.
No, just as an additional help from my side, in case if you want, I can always come in a conference call. Yeah. Because I have been helping many people in conference calls. So many times, these finance guys or these Rathaus people, they don't understand English at all. So if you require, you can take my help as well. Yeah.
Great, Siddharth. Thank you.
Welcome.
You are always a light, a ray of hope in the dark. Especially for me.
No, yaar, somebody in history some time back, somebody helped me also. So it is my responsibility to give it back.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. And that only takes a little amount of my time. It does not take my effort, my, too much energy. So that's okay. So, we already did a lot of German grammar, but I don't want to dive deep into it. What I want to focus in next 30 minutes is a little bit of spoken German. Like if I were to interact with somebody, the most likely sentences that we will be using. So let's say if you only want to ask somebody what is his name, so you won't ask was ist Ihre Name or was ist deine Name. These things we normally don't ask in German. We asked wie heißt du.
Do.
Yeah.
This is always confusing me because learning ich bin Amie
Yeah.
is very good, but wie heißt du, it's again totally different from our understanding how are you.
Yes, exactly. There are many things which are not one-to-one equal in German and English. So this is one of them. What is your name? What is your name? Yeah. So if you transliterate in German, if maybe like, I don't know how Google translates it, but if you word by word, if you make the translation, it will be was ist deine Name. But in German we don't use was ist deine Name or something like that. We say wie heißt du. Simple. Okay, and the reply will be ich heiße. Okay, so Chetan, can you ask Amia what is his name?
Ja, wie heißt du?
Yeah.
Ich habe. No, ich heiße.
Yeah. Ich heiße.
Heiße, okay.
Yeah.
Heiße.
Ich heiße Amia.
Ich heiße Amir.
That's right.
But Siddharth, it's better to ask wie heißen Sie?
Yes, that is the second thing that I wanted to speak out. If you are talking to a stranger and you don't know, maybe absolute stranger, you never know him, then it is always better to ask wie heißen Sie.
Yeah, because respect is being included.
Yes, always there. And somewhere I learned, somewhere only 2-3 days back I learned it is an offense. In case if you mistakenly say do to the next person and he feel offended, he can sue you and he can go to Polizei also. That this, yes, this is an offense here in Germany. So it is not by choice. Make sure it is like hitting a person with or maybe slapping a person. It is treated like this. So seriously, it is terrible then. You never know if the second person is very arrogant and he just want to make a issue of very small things.
Or maybe holding some prestigious position.
Yeah. That's also correct. So it's always better that unless and until you see very small child or maybe your colleague who
or safe to say do.
Yeah, better not to use this. Always, even for child also, you better use heißen Sie. However, not for child, not for kids. Once I asked, because what happens in Hindi, for example, when we say to a very small kid, तो हम लोग बोलते हैं आप कैसे हो, right? Even to kid. So I did the same mistake in Hamburg once when my house owner was there and he was with his kid, and I asked the kid, wie heißen Sie? So on the moment that owner came in our conversation, and he told me, please use do when you are talking to this child, to any kid. Yeah. So for kids, you can definitely, without any Zweifel, without any doubt, you can say do. No issues at all. Right. Okay. So wie heißen Sie? The answer will be.
What is exact meaning of heißen is?
That's what I'm saying. There is no English counterpart of this word.
That's why I'm always in confused mode.
Yes.
How wie heißen du? In fact, when I start talking with my German counterparts, I start typing like Ich bin, Hallo, Guten Morgen, and Willkommen zurück. Something like these basic words I started with them in terms of normal conversation. But as soon as they write wie heißen du, I got confused and I have to use Google Translator.
Yes, you're right. No.
So basically.
Yeah, please.
So basically, it's wie heißen Sie and wie heißt du.
Yes.
Okay.
There is, another topic for next class. Here you see it is heist. Heist. There is T. And here it is heißen. En. Yeah.
Sid, I think there is a different.
I also hear myself. I don't know
Actually, I think Anand needs to mute. It's coming from Anand.
Anand, please try.
Yeah. He
Okay,
did.
that's great. Yeah. So these, heist I used here, and here I'm using Heisen. These are known as conjugations. So why I took up that pronouns section in the first place, that is ish, do, er, z, s, because what happens for every this pronouns, there will be a separate conjugation, like Heisen, Heisen. This is a verb, and this is right now in infinitive form. Don't be overstressed. I'll explain everything. It is not a rocket science. Just, it's a very simple thing. This is infinitive verb. Now what happens if I say Heisen is an infinitive? For every pronoun ish, do, RGS, then wir, ihr, and z, there will be some modification in this infinitive form of Heisen. So for example, for ish, that is for the first person, it will be ish heise.
Ear.
No, ish heise.
Heise, okay.
Yeah. And for do, it will be do heist, Heist.
So original word is Heisen,
Yes.
and when we are using with the pronomen, it's Heise, Heist, and something like that.
Yes, exactly. However, Heisen will also come. Just a minute. Ich heiße, du heißt, RGS, this is auch heist. I'll write down and then explain. Wir is the third person and it's plural.
But no.
Here it will be Heisen.
Where
Any
is
doubt?
first person
Yeah.
plural? Where is first person plural?
Yeah. Sorry. This is first person plural, but in plural it comes as Heisen.
Okay.
But I have to recall it now. Just a minute. In Google now, you simply write that pronoun, that verb, Heisen, Heisen, and see conjugation. Yes, here we are. You see, ich heiß, du heißest. Oh, one moment. I made a mistake. Du heißest. Sorry. Here you see, we are talking about present simple. That is, we are talking about in present. We are talking right now, na? So we are talking about present simple. So this is the thing. Ich heiße, du heißt, RGS heißt, wir heißen, ihr heißt, sie heißen. Ihr heißt, sie heißen. I'll explain just a minute. Yes, so let me just zoom in and explain it now. Yes, so the basic concept is, friends, when we are using these pronouns, we have to use it all the times. So these are the singular ones, right? And these are the plural ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for every verb that we used, like ich heiße, this is the Heisen is the infinitive verb which normally you find in dictionary, right? If in dictionary you want to find heiße, most likely you will not find it, but you will find the infinitive form of that verb. Yeah. So for every verb, could be like laufen, essen, schlafen. I'll talk about later on this stuff. For these are all infinitive forms which you will normally find in a dictionary. So if you find this verb, for every pronoun, whether it is singular or plural, there will be some changes which come into picture. So for example, for heißen, it will be heiße. So if I ask somebody, if I reply to somebody, ich heiße Siddharth, so I will be using heiße form of heißen. Yeah. And if I were to ask somebody, wie heißt du? So then we will be using du, and the form of verb that will be used is heißt. Yeah. However, need not worry, because we have 6 forms, 6 pronouns, but not necessarily every pronoun has a new form, because RGS also will be having the same heißt. Yeah. And suppose if I say wir heißen, suppose if everybody is having the same name, let's say Frank. So wir heißen Frank. So then we will be using heißen, that is the plural form of this verb. That is the infinitive. That is the same then. Yeah. Then ihr heißt und sie heißen. Likewise, for every verb, there will be maybe 4 or 5 forms distributed into 6 cadres, 6 categories.
3 singular and 3 plural.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Any doubt, friends? This is a new topic actually.
So Siddharth, yeah, I'm sorry. So here, when it is like I, then means what one like similarity kind of. So if it is a I, then it goes to the heiße. When it comes to du or ear, right? Ear.
Yeah.
Or so in that case, it will be heißt.
Yes.
And otherwise, for the do, when we say the here, right? Here. Sorry.
Yes.
Here.
Yes.
Yeah. So in that case, they will be same. So basically, for you will be same.
Yes,
in
you're
both
right.
the cases.
Yes, you're right. The only thing is, from my experience, I would rather suggest you do not focus too much upon these plural forms right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because most likely you are going to talk to somebody directly. You know, if you were to talk to a group of people, like suppose if I am a team leader in a company and I am going to talk to a team of more than 1 people, then I'll be focusing upon these plural forms, right? But at my present state, or most likely your present state, you will be talking more or less directly to somebody.
Like one to one.
Yes, one to one. So this is just a tip from my side. It is nowhere written, but in our present scenario, in our present state, we are going for one to one only, and thereby you preferably focus upon this section. At max, what you will be using will be wir, most likely, because in case suppose if you go with your family to somebody and you want to introduce your family, then you will be talking in wir terms, that is we all. Okay, we will definitely take it up also, but at present I would request you to focus upon this section, singular.
So Siddharth, can you please add capital Z to the singular?
Pardon?
Can you please add capital Z to the singular? Z heißen.
Capital Z to singular.
Yeah, I mean, if you are talking to somebody, instead of do, we use C. I think you missed that. You added only ish to.
Okay,
Yes,
here you
yes.
mean, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's most important.
Yes, you are right. Absolutely right. That is
But in
most
that
important.
case, it is heißen. It's not heist again.
Yeah, in that case, we heißen Z, that will be definitely we will be using the plural respect form. And just important thing is, if we are talking in respect, then we have to use capital S. Okay, there is a difference here.
Yeah.
All right. So my focus was not to dive deep into this conjugation of verbs, but on interactive German right now. So what is your name? Wie heißen Sie, right? We will take up these plural forms and this conjugation later on, because it's a very long topic. Right now, what is wanted to tell you is, suppose if you were to ask somebody, then you will say wie heißt du. I'll bring up that screen again. Where is my mouse? Yeah. So if you were to ask somebody what is your name, then you have to ask wie heißt du, and if any senior, then wie heißen Sie. Okay, that was the main topic that I wanted to focus. Likewise, a few more scenarios. If you want to ask somebody where do you live, where do where do you live? So here it will be wo. My writing is going bad every day. Wo wohnst du, or it could be wo wohnen Sie. Now, these, like who, where, when, these are all W-Fragen. These are W questions, right? Who, where, when, with whom,
Why?
yes, WY, WHY, exactly. So these are all W questions in English, and correspondingly there are fortunately W questions in German also. However, there is some dissimilarities which at start will be a little confusing, like who is where. Yeah. Now make sure that we pronounce it as where, W-E-R, but it is not where. It is not W-H-E-R-E. Yeah. We will take up later on, because this is entirely a different topic. Now, where in English, W-H-E-R-E, that is which place, is wo in German. Okay. So here, as you see, where do you live? I said where will be replaced with wo. This is one-to-one conversion. This is, no context, no more logic associated with it. Okay. So let's say if you were to ask where do you live, so we will ask wo wohnst du.
So Siddharth, here wants is come before do because it's a live is a verb and verb is coming on the second place. That's why it's want is coming on the second place. Is it the correct logic?
But here also, wie heißt du, we said, na?
Mm-hmm.
Here also the verb came in second place.
Mm-hmm.
Getting?
Yeah.
So, it's that when we'll take up the sentence making, the positioning of words, then we will understand this logic. But here, but you took up the right point. Here, this live, where do you live? This is the verb in English, but here in German, wohnst come, but it comes in the second place. And this live is coming at the last place. So we will definitely take up the sentence making topic where you will understand. But right now you can just understand wo wohnst du. Yeah. And then
Siddharth, even if you take any Indian language, right?
Yeah.
We will never say where first. Aap kahan rehte ho, right?
Yes.
So it's always a bit difficult to compare. So I think
exactly. So there is definitely, this verb changes and all that stuff comes up. And fortunately, in German, there is hardly much difference. It is like this only. This verb is coming from that place to this place. If you take up other languages, especially like Französisch or Turkish, there it is absolutely different. So it is much easier in German, I'll say. But anyways, so our focus was wo wohnst du, and the reply will be ich wohne in. Ich wohne, and then in is the same as in English, fortunately. Yeah. So like in English we say I stay in Cologne, for example. So the same way Ich wohne in Köln.
So here K would be capital.
Yeah. Well, K will be capital in English also because it is a proper noun. Yeah. But I say ich wohne in ein Haus. Okay? So this house will be capital.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it is a generic noun. No? This is a simple noun. But still it will be, because it is noun, it will be capital.
It
All
will
the
be
time.
in or in.
Pardon?
It will be in or like for in German also it will be in.
Yes. Fortunately, in is same in German and English, both. So there are certain few more words like this wherein it is one-to-one same in English and German. I'll take up that through our course. Okay, so I would ask Raghu to ask Anand where does he lives. So how would Raghu ask Anand then?
Wo wohnst Sie? One.
That is, Raghu is asking Anand.
So it would be wo and do would be in the last, but in terms of does, so that means the tense for the one is not clear to me at least.
No issues. See, Raghu is asking Anand, right? So Raghu will say, let's say, hello Anand. No.
Yeah, I can repeat. Sorry, I was in mute. So.
Yeah.
Hello, Anand. Who owns do? Because I know already him, right?
Yes,
so we can say
exactly.
that who owns do.
No, there is one more hint here. Wohnst du. There is one more hint. Raghu is saying hello Anand. He's not saying hello Mr. Anand. Yeah. Hello her Anand. Suppose if he say hello her Anand, then the next sentence will be wo wohnen Sie.
Wohnen Sie, yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
He would be the
Got it right.
mandatory word.
Wo wohnen Sie. But here there is a Hinweis. He is taking the name directly, so it is definitely do.
So as soon as we are adding ha, so despite of having I know Anand, I have to use Z because
Yes.
I have added like the respect to Anand.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. Even if police talks to a suspected criminal, right? They also use Z.
Is it?
Yeah. It is like, because when they are doing the unread means salutation. So let's say Mr. XYZ is criminal. So police will say, hello Mr. XYZ, wo wohnen Sie?
Okay.
Yeah. Because even if it's a criminal or maybe a suspected or established criminal, but because they are using her, hello her XYZ, so if it is her used, then definitely it will be Z. Yeah. So
her or Frau is tightly integrated with Z.
Exactly. 100%. And there are certain more characters with which you can identify. Let's say if somebody starts a letter or sentence with sehr geehrter. S-E sehr geehrter. Okay. Or even sehr geehrte. G-E-H-R-T-E. These are greeting words. We will learn them when we are going for writing letters or writing SMS or writing any type of communication. So if we start any communication with these characters, sehr geehrter, then it shows that we are giving extra respect. So these are indicative words that we have to only use Z for sure. Right? This we will take up later on. I mean, unnecessarily I'm adding more variables to the equation.
So can I reply?
Yes, now it is your turn. Raghu will ask Anand.
So,
Hello, Anand.
yeah, sorry.
Wo wants do?
Yes. So Raghu, if he is going to ask Anand, hello Anand, then he will say wo wants to. And Anand, can you reply? How will you reply?
Ich wohne in Kol.
Yes, ich wohne in Kol. This is how I wrote here also. Just make sure that if you are replying to somebody, so as Raghu said, hello Anand, wo wants to, then you have to reply in the same terms. And you have to start with, hello Raghu, ich wohne in Kol. Okay. Hello.
Can you repeat that once again?
As Raghu asked you, when you see this screen, when Raghu asked you, hello Anand, wo wants to, then when you are replying then you should reply, hello Raghu, ich wohne in Kol. That is, hello Anand, if he is there then you should reply or use some sentence against this word also.
So
here,
can I repeat once again?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Hallo Raghu, ich wohne in Kol.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
Welcome. So what I mean to say is, if some person is interacting with somebody
Call.
like in Hindi we say Namaste, how are you? So we will suppose if we say Namaste, how are you, then we will not reply I am fine. We will also say hi, I am perfectly fine, or Namaste, I am also fine. So that first greeting character need to be replied.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not mandatory, but it is a good attitude then. Shows a respect kind of thing or more friendliness. Yeah. So, thus were alles. That was all for today. Any doubt or any questions till now?
No, it's a very good learning day by day. So that was again my personal experience. Like earlier, I was feeling very big zero, but at least I am something trying to grab outside, and even I'm trying to catch something in Railway or Kaufland.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, I started initial conversation with my colleagues, like do good morning, guten tag, Monday, Tuesday, something like that. So I started conversation because of your help, and that is giving me some sort of confidence to start with.
Yeah. That's great, and thank you so much for these good wishes. I would also suggest you guys in the course of your work, for 5 days when we work, or maybe like we interact with other people also. If any situation, if you find wherein you could not understand, just try to note down on some piece of paper or just text yourself on WhatsApp. That then we can take up those issues also in our next classes. Yeah, because the focus of our class is daily life. It is not passing in a Goethe exam or going into grammar side. It is more into daily lives. So I mean, we can discuss with each other and maybe like verbessern unser Life. That means we can make our lives more comfortable and more better. So tomorrow we will take up more such scenarios and more such one-to-one communications. I mean, I will not dive deep into grammar tomorrow, but only light communication scenarios.
Yeah. In fact, the session we done today, we can do the practice for these things.
Yes, exactly. We took only 2 questions today, wo wants to and we has to. But likewise, we will take up more such questions tomorrow, and we will not go into grammar tomorrow then.
Thank you, because it's too much crisscross.
I know. All right, but as I said, on the first class, as I said, if somebody asks you what is this in German, And the first day, if you see and try to convert it into German, Fün Fundert, Fün Fund, Fün sich, then it will be like a nosedive, you'll be like total nosedive to the ground. But if you go gradually one by one, then it is not a rocket science. So this all stuff what I showed here everywhere, this all you will learn very soon. I mean, maybe in 1.5 months time, you will have a grasp of everything. So on start and during that first stage only it is hard. Later on it is not that hard. Okay, so we are done with our 1 hour class, and I hope everybody enjoyed. So let's meet tomorrow again.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Sid.
Thank you, Siddharth.
Thank you.
Thank you, Siddharth.
See you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.